So he's in a bar and a guy falls down and he's about to die. So he's at the bar drinking. So he repents while he's at the bar, goes lay hands on the guy, and the guy gets healed. And he goes back to the bar. Because he still had the gift. He just didn't have the character. Now you say to yourself, then why did God use him to heal that person? Because the person needed healing. See, it wasn't for his benefit, it was for the other person's benefit. The gifts are out. You know, some people are great speakers. Just because they fell into sin don't mean they can't speak. But now they don't have the character for it to be used appropriately, to benefit others. Now they use it to entice and influence people into doing craziness. So you see the difference? So the power, the anointing, the power comes upon you as a gift. Gifts, that's yours. The fruit is different. That's not necessarily a gift. That's something that you have to stay in the right character to live right, to maintain. But the gifts are gifts. So once you get them, they're yours. So you're not going to lose them because you sin. You just won't appropriate them right. That's the danger of getting so caught up in gifts that you leave out of doing what you need to be right with God. That's the danger of just showing up and getting the word for 2 hours a week, but live your whole life soaking up the world because you're gifted, and just because you don't see you're gifted doesn't mean the gifts aren't there. And now you're flooding yourself with corruption and you're gifted. So that means you're gifted, your gift will be twisted. So now you're engaging people still with a twisted gift. So you ended up doing what? You twist them, you corrupt them. All because you didn't want to maintain what it took to walk in the character of God. Right? Y'all all right? Everybody good? All right, so the presence can withdraw, the gifts will remain at least for a while. This explains why tripping people still seem to have a residue of the gift. The fruit of the Spirit, which comes with the presence, is not progressive. They're instant. So it's not, it's not like there's nothing to suggest that fruits enter in your life and then they grow. Remember, the fruits are not yours, they're God's. So when God comes in, he brings his entire gift in. So God comes in with the fullness. Ephesians 3:19, it says, be filled with all the fullness of God. So when you take in God, you have his fullness, and that's why you start to see you function different. When you accept Jesus and you start to live right, you start to function different. When you start to compromise, you notice it seems like you go from day and night. Like just last week, I was doing the right thing. What happened to me? Well, you thought you could afford to compromise again. Because everything was rolling, you thought it was your power and your might, so you thought you had control over how you was going to live this life, so you took a chance in exposing yourself to something that was going to pull you back in. See, sometimes if we look at the other end of this stage as where you're trying to go, we look at this end of the stage as where we're coming from. So we were in sin, and now we're living right. But we're closer to what? Sin than we are to purpose. So if what we say this a lot. We go, well, I've been doing the right thing for a minute now. Well, a minute compared to what? Compared to where you need to be, or compared to where you were? All right, so then we say, I've been doing good for a minute. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with every once in a while doing a little stuff. It's just like when you first start your exercise regimen. Right? So your goal is there. You want to run 10 miles. So you're running a mile. And you go, and now that's excruciating for you because you ain't ran at all. So you say to yourself, man, I've been running like for the last 3 weeks diligently for a mile. Man, ain't nothing wrong with just chilling a little bit, but you're closer to what? Yeah, you're closer to lazy. So soon as you open up to what you're closer to, you're more apt to gravitate back to here than to get to there. That's what happens. But you say, listen, look, keeping it real, you done been on vacation long enough. You've been on vacation probably for the last 15, 20 years. So then you say, well, man, I've been busting my butt for a whole year. You know, I need a break. You had a break for 15 years. You only been working for a year. And you say you need a break? You took a break when you weren't even supposed to be on breaks. You like took extra breaks. So you got enough breaks for a lifetime. Let's put us to work now, please. Come on, faithful. Let's get it together. All right, y'all good? All right, okay. What was that? Gee whiz. All right, okay. All right, so once you experience when you experience the presence of God, you end up what I talked about earlier, you have a different voice. The presence carries God's voice. The gifts carry your voice. So the presence carries God's voice. Did I say that right? Right. So the gifts carry your voice. So when you experience the presence of God, you have a different voice. Like you don't even recognize what everybody else does. Right? Now the gifts carry your voice. It's just like we were talking about the gifts of the Spirit this week, and we hope you don't mind me sharing this, but we was asking Terrence, okay, you got to use your voice. Like the gifts are there, but you got to speak. You know, it's waiting on your voice because it uses your voice. But the presence carries God's voice. So you'll be speaking God's word like with the voice of Jesus or something. Like you open your mouth and people are like, just like with the disciples when they were speaking, they was like, ain't these unlearned men? Like, who are these guys? Because these can't be the guys that we were punking just last week. It just can't be. The guy, ain't that the guy that every time we mentioned Jesus, he was like, I wasn't with him. Jesus who? No, I wasn't with Jesus. No, I don't know Jesus. Jesus. Jesus? No, I don't know him. Then somebody else, he was warming his hands by the fire. This is Peter. This is when they had grabbed Jesus out of the garden. They was about to kill him. So he's warming his hand by the fire. And he's like, man, that's the guy, man, he was with, because he had just cut somebody's ear off in the garden. So you know, he had a lot of zeal when Jesus was around. So he was like, nah, man, I wasn't with Jesus. Then somebody else rolled up and was like, nah, yeah, that's the guy, he was with Jesus. He started to curse and swear is what the Bible said. The same Peter, when the power fell on him, was like, no, these boys out here drunk. Because you see that new wine looked like they was drunk with fermented old wine. But it was the power of God on them. So he's like, man, these guys out here drunk. He said, no. He got up bold. He was like, oh, these people ain't drunk as you suppose. This is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. He said he will pour out his spirit on all flesh. Young men will dream dreams and old men will see visions, or the other way around. He said the maidservants he will pour out his spirit on all flesh. He said this is what this is talking about. And they looking like, is this the same Peter that we just was denying him? And now it's representing, walking in power. See, they looked like they was drunk. They was like, this is only but the third hour of the day. And they drunk already? We don't usually get drunk until, it wasn't 2013. You know, 2013, people get drunk at 6 o'clock in the morning. But then, back then, they had a time. He said, no, we ain't drunk. We're drunk in the spirit. I was giving this testimony. I don't remember who it was. But I was in the service in Louisiana. And so I'm in the service, and so the power got hit. I hadn't seen the power got hit, but I was a personal assistant. So as a personal assistant, I made sure the service flowed well. So I'm always got my head on a swivel, making sure everything is going right. So I rarely ever just sat back, lifted up my hands, and soaked in the presence of God. Because I always got to make sure, you know, the ushers doing what they're supposed to do. The seating properly. You got the VIPs sitting where they're supposed to sit. So I never really could just relax, you know. And so I'm visiting this church, so I'm praising the Lord. I'm just in it. So the presence of God hit, but if you picture these two aisles together, it was the aisle was like twice that size. So when the presence of God hit, people was running. So I sensed like I should be running, but I was like, if I start running, I'm gonna run these people over or run these people over. I'm in the middle of the aisle. So I was like, man, nah, this is just not happening. I'm not gonna make myself look bad. So the guy that was up speaking, actually his name was Keith. The interesting thing, we had the same name. His name is Keith Moore. So he says, you know what? When the Spirit of God is moving, a lot of y'all are waiting for the Spirit to hit you. He said, but if there was a wave right here, so you've seen this wave or like this river water, that's what he said, river water flowing. He says, if you looking at it, you ain't getting wet. He says, you're gonna have to jump in to get wet and to go with the current. He says, but as long as you're watching it, it's gonna be going and you will not be participating in what that wave is doing. So I was, that was a good revelation for me. I just like getting stuff, so I got it. I was like, I got it. I was like, next time the Spirit move, I'm jumping in. Figuring what? The Spirit has already moved. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do nothing that's gonna make me look embarrassed. Right after I had that thought, the Spirit of God started moving again. So I said, man, well, I said I would move, and I'm a man of my word. So I said, I don't know what's gonna happen. I said, excuse me. I took a step. That's all I did was take one step. When I took a step, my feet was going like this. And I was like, what in the world? I didn't know what was happening. Seriously, it was scary. So I was like, my feet's going like this. So I'm like causing a traffic jam because at first I said, excuse me. Now my feet's going so fast, I'm pushing the row. So they move out the way. When they got out the way, I get in the aisle. I'm like, I was like, what is wrong with me? So I'm on the inside of my body going, you okay, body? Because I was all over the place. So finally I ended up flailing all the way up to the front row. This is a big conference, major conference, and I fall out in front of the man of God's foot. So then they started with the rest of the service. I'm laid out on the floor. The guy that was speaking was just assisting the man of God that was running the service, who had a reputation for flowing in the gifts and the power. So he walks up to this aisle and he lay hands on the guy's shoulder. Now everybody's standing up. They felt like dominoes. Now, mind you, I'm sitting probably, no, let me do this aisle because this is actually how it went. He laid hands on this person. I don't know if you ever saw this movie. It's called Terminal Velocity. It's with Charlie Sheen, I think. And so they got on this machine, and I think it went like 170 miles an hour or the speed of light or whatever. But it wasn't a covered, you weren't enclosed. So when he got on the machine and they took off, his face looked like it was peeling back. When he laid hands on that end right there, my face was like that, like the wind was coming through the aisle. Like I was like, what in the world? Because somebody saw me on the video, because they had big screens. Somebody saw me on the screen. They're like, you okay? I was like, what is happening? And then bam, everybody fell out. So, I believed at that point. I was like, okay, I guess those people really did fall down. All right, so then everybody's laughing. Just out of control laughing. I wasn't laughing. They were laughing. And so, like they was drunk. Just laughing like crazy all over. They couldn't stop laughing. So I'm looking at these people. I'm like, these people tripping. So the service is over. Over now. We gone. We leave. We've left the atmosphere. I get to the car, put my hand on the car door, I start laughing. But I couldn't stop. I get in the car, I'm laughing. My wife is trying to talk to me, but I can't talk because every time I open my mouth, I laugh. So I'm like, I'm crying. I put on the windshield wipers because I thought it looked like it was raining. I'm not making this up. And the car that was in front of me, they was with us, so they was looking through the rearview mirror. It's like, what's going on with Keith? Because I was just cracking up. So we get to Waffle House, I couldn't order because I'm laughing, like uncontrollably, just laughing. Like every time the lady asks me, what do you want? I break out laughing, just like laugh. So my wife had to just figure out what I wanted. But it was it was that new wine. That it was experiencing the outpouring of the Spirit, which